All right, welcome back to episode 14 of the Ignorant Experts podcast. I'm so proud of us for keeping this up, man. Good job, guys. I'm proud of us. Proud of
We
you.
made it to 14.
We did.
Higher than I knew how to count.
I pat myself on the back, Ryan.
Well, I'd pat you on the back too, but I'm not there. So, but good job, guys. I think we're gonna have fun tonight, man. There's so much going on. We're definitely not gonna get to everything. It's been kind of a loaded year so far with Snowmageddon and then the Nintendo and the PlayStation announcements, and then we've had a bunch of leaks, and then there's just a bunch of stuff going on in the world right now. Everything's crazy. So if you thought 2020 was over, this is just 2020 version 2. So
2021.
yeah, Electric Boogaloo. Who wants to go first?
I can be expert first.
Okay. Oh yeah, Seth, we didn't tell you because you just got in the call, but you're gonna be the other one.
Oh no, I got Zach's text. No worry.
Okay. So who's giving Zach their topic?
Not me.
I heard
Not-
voices, so I can't.
Okay.
No, I'm picking a different one, but it's better.
Fuzz,
Then
do you have one,
yeah.
Fuzz?
Yeah, I've got a
Okay.
topic.
Okay.
I'm gonna copy it so I can paste it in chat. But Zach,
What's
you
up?
are an expert on Manx.
Say that again.
Manx. He's supposed to spelling here.
Professional.
Manx. Manx.
Oh, see, you who are not
Oh,
well
no.
studied in Man X would pronounce it Manx.
Oh,
So-
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So Man X, this is the next level of man. It's a little well-known project going on. They don't really talk about it much, so I don't know how much I can say, but y'all can ask your questions, and I will try to give you some answers.
Not everybody at once, guys.
So I need questions though to answer them.
So, what is this like an evolutionary jump, or is this like cyborgs, or well, how do we improve and enlighten me?
Imagine man, as in
All the people.
humankind, without the problem of sickness and illnesses. Man X.
I can't imagine that. I'm always down with the sickness.
Thank you, Disturbed.
So,
Thank you, Disturbed. So like, okay, are we talking like artificial bodies, or are we just talking like genetically modified bodies?
We're talking genetically modified,
Stronger bones, stronger immune
Stronger
systems.
bones, your immune system now has an Apache helicopter cell in it that
Oh.
fights off cancer and all other forms of nasties.
Lasers, yes or no?
Yes, lasers, obviously.
All right, cool.
Is this
Freaking
like
laser beams, man.
Sure,
is-
with
is-
the freaking laser beams.
I'm just imagining here a small like nanomachine tower defense going on inside your body with like an Apache.
Hmm.
Imagine from
My
Bloons
goodness.
TD6, the tower, the bottom tier of the Dartling gunner.
Guys,
The
if you
one
didn't
that-
if you didn't know, we're nerds. So if it wasn't abundantly apparent
Newsflash.
before, yeah,
By the way,
14 episodes in.
yeah,
they know.
yeah. There's no way, especially after the Star Wars rant and the Pokemon rant. Are we gonna have another one?
Pokemon talk? Yeah.
So, it's just basically the next step that we're trying to take in the scientific community, get humans to be not susceptible to dying so easily, because we die pretty easily.
So how many failures is it gonna take to get to like this next level?
That, unfortunately, is one of those things that the government has told me I am not allowed to tell you.
I feel offended.
The toll is high, though.
I feel offended. I don't die easily. I've tried. Doesn't stick.
Well, that may be a topic for your therapist.
Oh man, it does. So then the question for me is, do people sign up for this program willingly, or is it like we can rebuild them better, faster, stronger thing where you just kind of like upgrade
This
people
is-
without their knowledge?
Kind of like experimental medicine, like they have no other shots to get better.
I understand. Interesting.
That's kind of what we're working on, It's not been very successful yet, but
Oh, okay.
that is the goal.
I was gonna ask what like the 10-year plan is. Like, what's beyond the okay? We don't get sick anymore. Are we talking like jetpacks, wings,
I mean, that's when you get to the cybernetic enhancements, you know.
more laser beams, perhaps?
Lasers
Yeah.
out of your eyes, basically, you know? No. I
Uh,
mean, the next step would be, you know,
That should make you blind, by the way.
no.
No one talks about that. Sorry.
Oh,
Superman can do it. It's fine.
Sorry.
how similar is this to the Nazis? All the
Well, we don't really like to compare ourselves to them, but they did have some good ideas.
Am I gonna have to bleep that word? Because I don't think we can say that word on YouTube.
No, you can't. It's one of the forbiddens.
It's one of the no-no words. You're almost out of time, so if we have any last questions for Zach, speak them now. Not everybody at once. All right, Zach. Well, that was
Guess- Oh, okay, I was gonna say, I guess I'll just end with, here's to humanity and let's keep getting better. Humanix.
I'll drink to that. Mannix. All right, Fuzz.
Well, you were just not close.
That's okay.
As
I knew I
expected.
wasn't, but I wanted to make it more fun.
That's right. Well, you were right about little known. Manx is a Gaelic language that was spoken on the Isle of Man, and the last native speaker died in 1974. Now they have since revived, they teach it in schools and stuff. And,
Why? Why do they teach dead languages? That never has made sense to me. Why do we teach Latin and stuff?
I don't know, but
You don't want to lose your
so-
history, man.
on the Isle of Man, it's not forcibly teach, it's optional. Up until 6th grade, you can learn Manx, which is the native tongue that nobody knows anymore, apparently.
Sounds like a
So-
secret made-up language. Makes sense.
but how do they know they're saying it right if nobody knows?
Well, because
Exactly.
in 1974, they had recordings and they had people who studied the language and who wrote those things down. They just don't have any native speakers. There are speakers out there coexisting
I
at
don't
the
believe
time.
you.
You don't believe me?
Sounds like a challenge, Fuzz. You're gonna have to go out there
Are
and
you
learn.
saying I have to
learn
bring
Manx.
a Manx speaker to the podcast?
Yes.
I'm saying I don't believe that's a thing. So, good luck with that.
Go learn.
Okay.
Go learn some Manx.
Bring us the most common words used in the Manx language.
Learn to Manx, please. How do you say the F word?
Makes me
man?
harder, Daddy.
Oh,
Makes me harder, Daddy. I don't know about that one. All right, moving on. Seth, you are our next expert. How about Blaze? You go ahead and give him his sentence.
Manx expert.
Okay,
Whisper.
Seth.
Expert.
Based on our sound check, I knew I had to give this one to you. Okay.
Oh, good.
So you are an experienced person who deals with wet markets.
With wet market?
Yeah. You're a wet market expert.
Wait, I mean, that's obvious at this point.
All right, Seth. How wet are these markets?
So wet market is obviously not a literal sense, right? You're not going to an actual market and it's just wet.
I don't believe
I
you.
mean, they do have those, if you go down to the docks or whatever have you. But no, a wet market is actually a different term. It's more so like the state of the market. Basically, it's when the market is flowing, stuff's going off the shelves, everything's going really well.
I just want to go ahead and tell everyone listening at home or watching on YouTube that Fuzz has apparently put some kind of Latin spell in our Discord. So if the video suddenly comes off, it's because he summoned a demon.
I second this. I see it. He is trying to murder us. He
Uh,
called me a
Manx.
cigar. He called me a
Nothing
cigar,
new.
and I do not appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know what this is, but it's
Lesbian cigar. Don't like that.
it's Manx. Let me ask you about this wet market. Why are you called a wet market expert and not just an economist?
Two different things. You would think they go hand in hand, and you would be incorrect.
Why not?
Because the terms for it are different, obviously. But economist looks at the pictures of the whole, not just the market. And by market, I don't mean when you look at an economist, as I said, the whole thing, the whole economy. That's what we're looking at. By market, we mean a literal marketplace. So we narrow it down much more to the individual level. Economics, even though they try to, they can't get those same fine details that we can.
I see. So you're focusing specifically on microeconomics in a certain marketplace. So what's the most rewarding aspect of this job?
Well, I could go full on and just be like the profits that we gain from making sure we understand how things are going in the flow, but that's not really it. It's more so the benefit that we get from knowing that we better everyone's lives involved by making everything more profitable for everyone across the board.
I see.
Sounds like a bunch of hooey.
So
I've
you're
never known a
telling me
market that does that.
you're telling me this is not the famous Singapore like water park market. That's not a
No.
wet market.
This is not an
So that's
aqua
a water
bazaar.
market.
Hmm.
It's not an aqua bazaar. This is a term used in our industry, the wet market industry, to describe ourselves, the wet market.
Now, what's the most popular item being sold or traded in the wet market?
Depends on the market. For example, if you go down to the southern hemisphere, you'd be surprised that insects are actually a highly sold commodity.
I don't believe you.
Well,
I mean, you're the expert, so I should believe you, but I don't.
they're a great source of protein, if you didn't know.
I do know that many other cultures outside of Western cultures do eat bugs pretty readily.
They do indeed. America is one of the few that have not adopted for various different reasons.
Because it's gross.
Well, if you want to put it like that, that would be the simplistic one.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I've seen cockroaches. They're gross. I wouldn't eat one.
There are
Oh, no,
others
they look
besides
delicious.
cockroaches, scorpions, spiders,
I wouldn't eat
ants,
those.
crickets.
Those are also icky.
Well, some would beg to differ, and if actually done right, because what we're used to seeing is, the typical way. For example, did you know that there's actually a group trying to bring insects to America that uses what is known as cricket flour?
I feel like
Flour made out of cricket?
I feel like you're making that up.
It's not made purely out of cricket, but it has the cricket component in it in order to give that extra protein, vitamins that come naturally with the insect.
You were
I've
talking
had
about
candy
What-
encrusted crickets before. They
What
weren't that
relation
bad.
does that have to rhinoplasty, where they use the rhinos?
Good question. Good callback. Good job, Fuzz.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good callback.
I wasn't ready for that callback.
Got him!
Does that mean that we win?
Hey, let's go!
The expert has
So
been-
no relation to the surgery, which is what rhinoplasty is for those not aware. Not to the plaster made of, the endangering of rhinos. We do not condone that here.
Blaze, how familiar are you with your new editing program? Is there any way I could get you to put a little graphic that's just like "canceled" over Seth's name?
Oh, I could probably do that if it's a video.
That's funny. Okay, well, good job, Seth, Zach, or sorry, Fuzz, not Fuzz, Blaze. I'll get there eventually. I don't remember anybody's names, even though I'm looking right at the screen. Why don't you inform us? Well, I'm looking at my computer. Now, what wet markets are?
Okay, so the first sentence that came out of Seth's mouth was wrong. It is actually the local place that you go to, and it is, it would be down by the docks. It's a market that sells perishable items such as fresh meat and produce, and sometimes live animals, which are often slaughtered on site. So like a fish market, where they're selling freshly caught fish would be a wet market. But I'll give them this: the insects would technically be right because that's a perishable item.
Also,
Except-
the
I don't know if
flower thing I
cockroaches
was talking about is
actually.
a real thing.
Blaze, is there any motivation behind you giving Seth wet markets this time, or you just thought it was interesting?
No, it was the sound check.
It's just the sound check. Makes sense.
That was wet,
You know, Honestly, my undoing was thinking that Blaze would not give me something as straightforward as a wet market. Like, this can't be just what I think it
Obviously.
could be.
Obviously.
That had to be some kind of depraved something.
I'm gonna be honest. I had no idea what a Manx was, or Manx is the
I
language.
thought it was a cat.
That was a pretty good one though, Fuzz.
Yeah.
It is a cat also.
It's also a cat. Yeah.
No, that's a minx, right? No.
No,
think
it's a Manx.
oh,
a Manx?
Yeah.
I was thinking of lynx then. Well, did anybody do their homework from last week?
I did.
Zach did. So we'll start with Zach. What is the one way you would absolutely not want to go via torture?
The wooden horse.
Is that the one where they pull you apart limb from limb?
No, that's the one where it splits you from your groin to your head. They tie weights to your.
Oh
legs.
yeah. I was thinking it was called something else. I was gonna call that the pyramid.
Yeah, I
that
thought
was
it was-
mine.
I was
How
like-
dare you?
That was like the witch or something.
It's had a couple different names.
This one.
Yeah, that one. It's
Yeah.
pretty awful, actually.
I have a second one, if you want it to.
Well, let's go back.
You
Let's
can go first. You can go first.
so let's go around the table, or the virtual table, and see what everybody else has to say. And if it hasn't been said, I want to hear it because it's interesting. Does anybody else have one? Fuzz.
So,
Can I have two, or do I just
Just
wanna-
one.
Start with one, then we'll have round two.
Brazen Bull.
That's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
one.
Yeah, sure everybody knows what that is. So
Yeah,
I saw that one. That looks awful.
for
Yeah,
those
it's
who don't
pretty
know
awful.
what that is basically they put you in a bronze bull that's hollow on the inside, and then they cook you.
Yep.
Inside the bull, they build a giant fire under it, and you just get cooked inside of this metal bull.
Which I imagine is much worse than being burned at the stake, because apparently going that way, like while the pain is pretty bad at first, you die pretty quick.
Right.
Versus like the bronze bull, you're not getting any of the smoke that would cause you to pass out, right? So you're
Mhm.
literally just like dying of dehydration or like of being literally cooked.
So, the biggest thing about the bull, I did see that one too, and I'm reading another thing on it right now. So they had like a horn inside of it.
Hmm.
So like when the person who was being cooked alive was screaming, the horn made sounds so that the onlookers got a show. It was like, Friday night entertainment.
Dude, that's just... I'm not drunk enough for this. All right, Seth, what's your morose? Terrible.
Burning Bullet was on the list, but I was
Yeah,
curious who would
for
take it.
sure.
So
For sure.
there is another one that's actually very similar to the one Zach was talking about,
Hmm.
with the splitting down the middle. This
Mhm.
is kind of the opposite end, and where
Where they just put you back together
well, no, they just flip you upside down.
and do it from the head?
So nope, they literally tie you up by your ankles so the blood rushes to your head, and then they take a saw and they have one person on each end, and they just
Oh,
saw you
that's
down
that's
the
right.
half.
They cut you in half. Dude, that's got to be the worst.
What's that called? I didn't see that.
You know,
Does
Uh,
it have a
I think
name?
it's called sawing you in half. But
yeah, I've
No.
seen it. I've seen references to it and things from the internet. Thankfully, no one's taken my primary one yet. Although the one Zach said was pretty close to number one for me.
Yeah, my second one's probably your first.
As a
one.
man, that one seems like the worst.
on the
For
upside,
sure.
at least they start with the worst part first,
I guess.
so you can get it out of the way, I suppose.
All right, Blaze, what you
Uh,
got?
I think it's just eternal
Uh,
suffering.
For sure.
I can't remember. Was there a time period? Or
No.
or did-
Medieval.
Just no, I didn't give a time period. Just in general,
Um,
worst
It
way to
would be
go
pr-
via torture.
torture or like just
Torture.
this is basically execution anyway. So
Yeah.
getting drugged through the streets is pretty bad. Like that where they tie you to a horse and the horse would just like
Mm,
keep going and you're being drug over like
Yeah.
cobblestone.
yeah. Didn't the mobsters used to do that in like the 20s and 30s? They used to tie tie it to a car and do that? Am I wrong? Did I make that up?
They probably did it. They probably did it with cars.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Horse seems pretty bad too. Surprised no one said drawn and quartered. Well,
Oh,
mine is probably the Iron Maiden.
yeah, that was my second one.
Yeah, it was my second
I think it would
one,
be
and then
quick,
it
though.
moved. I don't think so. I think they were designed to like, the spikes are designed to penetrate just deep enough to like make you bleed, but not deep enough to kill you. So you bleed out, right? Because it's a torture. Why would you go through the process of? And I thought about this just as like a blacksmith or like an architect, someone who's having to build this. Why would you take all the time to literally make a spiked coffin to kill someone instantly? You could do that so much easier. No, it's for suffering.
Yeah.
If
So
I'm not wrong, I thought the Iron Maiden was actually not really a real thing. Like we have examples of it, but it was more of hey, wouldn't it be effed up if this thing happened type of thing versus yeah, we actually threw people in here like with the burning bull and the other
I-
things.
I'm fairly certain they did put people in Iron Maidens.
I'm sure someone
That's
has
a
been
real
put in
thing.
an Iron Maiden.
And
Probably
somebody
at some
didn't like them.
Well, good fact check so far, Seth. I'm gonna keep reading this. Zach, why don't you hit us with your second one while I read these?
Okay. My second one is called The Pair of Anguish.
Oh, that was on my list too.
Um, so this thing, it was mostly used on women, but it could be used on men too. It was a punishment for things such as homosexuality and witchcraft. And they either stuck it down the person's throat or where the sun doesn't shine, and they slowly cranked it open until it caused irreversible and just horrendous damage to them. So it, like, if you look at this thing, you're like, how did they do that? But it is scary looking. Like,
Yeah,
does not look like good times.
it's pretty awful. So according to what I've seen so far, and I obviously haven't had enough time to read through all the articles that came up, Iron Maidens, as we know them, are not real, but there are Iron Maiden-like devices that are pretty similar that were used, and it is used to execute. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was like a torture thing. You just bleed out.
I do have a note on the brazen bull though. There supposedly there are stories that say that the guy who built it for somebody like a king or something like that, and then like the king was disgusted by it and killed him with it. Like he's
Hey, I built this for you.
yeah, he's like, I built this for you, and then the screams of the person will be great. You can hear them, and he was like, what the and then he just pushes them in and then, like burns him.
What a no you Uno reverse card.
Right.
But I guess he wasn't so disgusted with it. He didn't kill people with it because somebody used it.
I think that's
Yeah.
supposed to be the idea. The first use of it was to the creator, and I'm guessing after that, I don't know if the king himself used it or if it just got passed around to
Maybe.
people that maybe didn't share his same viewpoint on things.
Yeah.
You know,
Man, that is rough.
Yeah.
I guess the whole thing is just like bad. I mean, obviously, I think we all would like to either go in our sleep or have like a really, really quick death. They say heart attacks are pretty peaceful. So, I don't know.
Well, I wonder how this all compares to modern
Torture.
like the CIA torture that they don't tell anybody about.
Well, I do know that they have. I haven't done like extensive research on it, but they have these chemicals that can make your muscles contract. And I don't know if you've ever had a muscle like spasm. Like this is that to the extreme. Like muscle spasms hurt, and this is to the point where like you're in agony.
Hmm.
Like it's bad times.
Yeah, see, I
Yeah.
think that's the truly horrifying thing about modern day torture. Even though it doesn't seem as grotesque as previous methods, like you look at this and you just have the mental image of it, and it's just very graphic and horrifying. But at the end of the day, it does its job. It kills you. Versus modern day torture, we don't have to break your bones. We can make you feel like your bones are breaking, and so theoretically, we can just keep doing that. There's a limit. Once you cut off someone's finger, well, their finger's gone. You can't cut off that finger again. But we can keep stimulating that feeling now with how we know how the brain works and how chemicals are. Because pain is just signals, right? And once we know how to send those signals to your body, we can make your body feel whatever kind of pain we want.
Yeah.
Yep.
You could definitely just control the brain through electrical impulses in a way. Not completely, but you can definitely like hijack the nerve system, the nervous system. It's weird that there are genetic mutations that happen that would cause people to be in constant pain or not feel any pain at all. Nerves are weird, dude. Have you guys ever seen that picture? I'm sure Zach has of the first fully extracted nervous system.
Pretty sure we had this
I've seen that
conversation
actually on
before.
display.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you
I
had
don't
to
know if
study
it was like
nursing stuff.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Some dude had so much time and so much patience that he decided to extract every nerve of the human body.
For science.
Not all heroes wear capes.
In case you guys didn't realize, we have a lot of stinking nerves.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy.
It's a lot, but if you made it this far, kudos, because this got kind of graphic. Which I mean, we knew this was coming. If you watched last week's podcast, you knew this was coming. So thanks for sticking around with us. We should move on to something maybe a little bit more lighthearted.
Yeah.
And we're
Yep.
losing Fuzzy, so
Yep.
goodbye,
I'll,
Fuzz.
see y'all next week. Goodbye.
Bye,
Fuzz doesn't
Fuzz.
like lightheartedness.
Yeah, Fuzz doesn't like lightheartedness. Now I gotta change the overlay because I guess Fuzz forgot that he has to be here. It's alright, you guys can talk while I change the overlay. It doesn't matter for people who are listening.
So I know there are other methods that I'm sure are equally as horrifying, and I almost can guarantee I've heard them
Nope.
at some point, but they are slipping my
Yeah.
mind.
There was. Did anyone see? Was it Law Abiding Citizen?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that was pretty
One
gruesome.
where,
Gerard Butler.
yeah.
One of my favorite.
Dude, that was rough. Alright, well, what do we want to move on to now, gents? I know we've got a bunch of stuff.
What have you been watching this week?
What have you been watching?
Nothing new for me. Just the same kind of popular anime on Crunchyroll.
I started a new anime this week called Plunderer.
Heyo.
It's really funny and
It's
like
supposed
it's
to be
got some
really
good action. It's just good stuff.
I've seen some clips from it. It's supposed to be pretty good.
Those are such. I like the author because he makes like good stories, but at the same time, they do have a certain level of perversion to them that
Yeah,
make me
he's,
kind of.
the main character's a pervert for sure, but
Yeah. It's like the
if you like that
irredeemable
kid too
pervert
well,
type.
Seth, it's fine.
I know, it is funny. Like I said, I enjoy the author because he gives it like some surprising depth to it. With it, and there's like always an underlying seriousness that goes along with the perversion. Like it's never just perversion for the sake of perversion. A lot of the time, like usually there's more to it.
Yep. I've also been watching Elementary this week, which is it's like a Sherlock Holmes crime show thing, and it's actually really good. I know y'all don't like live action shows as much, but I'm pretty big into like crime dramas and stuff. I've watched a bunch of them with my mom, and this one's actually better than most. So Been enjoying it.
So is that the American version of Sherlock?
Yep. So, well, he's still British, but he moves to America. So he's
Ah.
in New York City.
But that's how they're able to rectify that. Interesting.
Yep, it's good stuff though. Highly recommend it if you like crime dramas and stuff. And it's not gruesome. I know a lot of them kind of go for a gruesome thing. Like I just finished Hannibal, and that one is beyond gruesome.
What was that name again?
Hannibal? Or are you talking about the Sherlock Holmes?
No, the cannibal one.
Hannibal the Cannibal, yeah.
Hannibal the cannibal.
Hannibal,
Not Hannibal
the cannibal.
Hannibal the Cannibal. Hannibal Lecter. It's a TV show.
Oh,
It's
Hannibal.
on Netflix.
Okay.
It's really good too. Acting is fantastic in it. Yeah, and then just leave it at that. I mean, if you've ever heard of the movies, they're similar to that.
Billy, you watching
Been
anything new?
watching anything new? Oh, hey.
Nice.
I've been reading the or I've been watching. It was something. It was that villainous anime, and it's okay. It's just kind of like a mind-numbing anime where you can like watch it and then like not think at all.
The one where she gets reincarnated into like the game she was playing,
Yeah.
like romance novel. Okay.
And she's the villain.
Yeah, the villainess. They've got another season coming. It's either this summer or I think it's this summer, but it could be coming in the spring. We should be getting there's a bunch of stuff coming up soon in the summer and the spring. We get Shaman King, supposedly sometime in April, and then the new season of My Hero starts at the end of this month. I forgot to look up when
I fell out of love with that anime.
when Bleach.
It just felt too fillery.
You know, it's a lot of shonen anime. To be fair, I listen to people say that they don't like Deku or they don't like My Hero anymore, and it's like, dude, Deku is like the best shonen protagonist we've had in terms of like depth.
Watch your mouth. You seen?
Well, like maybe Luffy is the only other one. I don't know. Like Deku isn't as bad as Goku. Like, can we be real for a minute? Goku's strong, yeah.
Worse than Goku.
But like I don't think My Hero is any different. If you let me rephrase this. If you put My Hero Academia and Naruto in the same lineup in the same season, people wouldn't care. Like back when Naruto first released, even Naruto Shippuden, it would have been fine. And it's only because it's new shonen anime, people are like, "Oh man, well this kind of sucks. There's a lot of flashbacks and Deku's kind of a crybaby." And it's like shonen has always done this. They didn't move away from their norms. They just got better at animating. You know, name one shonen protagonist that isn't at least kind of a crybaby. I'll wait.
Good question. Good question.
Ichigo. He just got depressed.
That's true. He didn't cry, really. He cried either when he got his powers back or right after. Like,
Is this after Aizen? Because it doesn't count. if
yeah,
it's
this is
after Aizen.
it's post. This is
Doesn't
post Aizen. He definitely cries at some point,
Doesn't count.
but not
Tanjiro's not really a crybaby. Love Tanjiro.
not really.
I like
We've
him
only
a lot.
got one season of Tanjiro so far, so I'll reserve my judgment. But for sure, Tanjiro so far is arguably the best shonen protagonist we have.
I'm looking forward to Shaman King because I never watched the original one, but I've always heard it's like some of the like greatest shonen stuff out there.
Mm-hmm. It's a good story. It's really good.
Like the
I'm
manga, not
stoked.
the original. I heard they messed up the original anime, and
Yeah,
people were
they did.
very upset about that.
They
They did.
the reason they did is because 4Kids took over it, and 4Kids had to keep it PG. And if you read the
Yeah.
manga, it is not PG.
We know how 4Kids does things.
So yeah,
They do it for kids, you know. You know what I'm saying?
I guess, but man, well, they did that with
which was
a
unfortunate.
lot of shows.
They-
It's the reason they didn't last
I'm
very long.
excited. Shaman King was one of the stories I actually have almost all in paperback. It's one of the collections I had. I'm looking forward to finishing.
This is true.
It's a good series. I have very fond memories of it.
Unless you got anything you're looking forward to?
Not really.
We still haven't seen the Demon Hunter movie come out yet. I mean, it's out on like,
Japan.
no, it's out on like Amazon Prime. You just have to rent it. I just don't want to give Amazon money for a movie.
I already have Amazon Prime. I should not have to pay them for it.
Exactly. It's like I already have Prime Video. Why am I have to
pay them
rent the movie?
$140 a year or whatever.
Is it really $140 a year?
I think they raised it. So
They raised it to $140 a year.
maybe 150 now. I think it's $14 a month. So 14. times 12,
Holy
whatever
crap.
it is.
I did not know Amazon Prime was that expensive.
Yeah, it keeps going up, and they can do that because they now control the market. They're basically a monopoly.
I mean, not really.
Kind of.
Over what? Monopoly over what? When you've got Disney Plus and Netflix still on
Not
players.
Amazon Prime, the movie service. Amazon Prime, the shopping service.
Oh yeah, I mean you could only argue that maybe Walmart competes, but
they're
not
hurting
even.
Walmart like massively,
Yeah,
especially with the pandemics happening. Like they now have like cemented their place. People are like, I'm not going out to go to Walmart. So
yeah. Well, they really knew what they were doing in terms of like expanding their business, and now they've got the Amazon Fresh. Is that what they still call it? Amazon Grocery.
so you can get groceries.
Yeah, you can get groceries and stuff, and they're already working on like having Amazon stores, which is essentially just Walmart, but Amazon. I don't think they have any yet, but last I heard, they were going to try and open physical locations. And it's like, what is happening? Amazon is taking over everything. But hey, I mean, if no one stops them, that's just how the market goes, I guess. But anyway,
It'll be fine until they try to push their advantage too much, and then the government steps in.
how much is too much? They've got their hands in literally every pot.
People
Technically,
start
we have
complaining.
anti-monopoly laws. So I mean, like,
I know.
it's interesting that like we've let Walmart and Amazon like put all the small businesses out of business.
Well, you've got to.
People will argue that they didn't put them out of business. Well, they did. Like being able to sell everything at drastically cheaper because you get it made cheaper over in China. Like the mom and pop shops couldn't do that.
Well, you can buy stuff cheaper per item if you buy it in bulk, and when you have the buying power that like Walmart and Amazon does, then you can sell stuff for cheaper because you're buying it for cheaper essentially.
They're also buying it.
But I think you have to like prove monopoly at this point. Like what would you say that Amazon has monopoly over that doesn't have something that could be considered reasonable competition? You can't say Prime Video because Netflix is still a thing. You can't say grocery stores because Walmart and Kroger are still things. They don't have a storefront, so you can't compare them to like Target.
Actually, I think they are working on the storefront.
I know they are.
Place was saying,
I know they are, but they don't have one yet, so you can't even call that part out yet. And so what? The delivery service? I guess you could maybe call them out for that, but they're not even doing their own delivering yet, so it's not even like they've still got
Coming soon.
FedEx. Yeah, and I mean, I guess technically eBay still counts as like online distributors, and then you still have to like compete kinda with like online retailers like Walmart or Target. That's not really competition, but it would be hard to say that Walmart isn't at least a competitor to Amazon when it comes to like Black Friday sales. So like you can't even really call them on that. They've got their hands in so many pots, and they don't have such complete dominance that they don't have at least one rival, which is basically all you need to avoid the trust busting laws. Even though it's very clear that they may have overreached. I don't know. That's not my decision to make. It's a bunch of.
I mean, they are.
It's the decision of a bunch of like 80 and 90-year-olds up on Washington Hill.
That are getting paid off.
Well, I can't confirm or deny that because I don't have evidence to suggest it, but I don't have actual evidence, but yeah, no, I agree. Something should probably happen. The government should probably intervene, but I'm not sure what kind of legal action could actually be taken to trust bust.
Technically, a monopoly. Well, you could call it this like a benevolent monopoly would be the best thing, but the odds of that happening are very slim. Like,
Is that even possible?
I don't even know if this is a
technically,
legal enough term.
it would be like the equivalent of the benevolent monarchy, where there's like a king or a queen that are like good and make sound decisions all the time. That would be ideal, but then eventually somebody screws up big time, and then it ends up being bad.
I'd argue against that. I see your point. Don't get me wrong. For what you're saying, but I personally think the best situation is when you have true competition, because that's what breeds innovation and what's best for the customer generally. Is when one company is truly outdoing the other, and not when they look at each other and go, "Let's make an agreement that this is, going to be the top quality."
Yeah, but the problem with that, and at this point, and I guess you could make this case against capitalism if you really wanted to, is that it's up to the customers to stand up against companies doing that and refuse to buy products from either of them. And because we've become so lazy and so complacent in our products, we've allowed companies to shaft us, like AT&T or like Verizon or other internet companies who are like, oh, these are just the speeds we sell. When you look at the statistics and of the developing countries, America has the worst internet. It's like, why did we allow these internet companies and these internet providers to give us subpar internet at subpar prices? We allowed that by not finding other places, like in mass. Like one person, it starts with one person, eventually it grows into a movement. But just like we let Apple not let us make modifications to their phones or to repair our devices on our own by buying Apple products and supporting them regardless of what we think. It's like by not changing your habits, you support the things that are bad for you. And I mean that's a problem with capitalism, but ultimately it falls down to the buyer. So like, of course businesses are going to come to agreements and say like, you know what, we should keep the prices kind of low, and every year or so hike it up just a little bit and see how far we can take it. We just haven't reached the point where everyone's like, you know what, we're going to go with someone else.
See, I think the problem is that we aren't at that point, and more so that the groups are so large that there isn't another group that can try.
Well, yeah, we passed that
mean,
point 10 years ago
I was gonna say, like,
when there was competition.
yeah, or the competition that's showing up is puppet competition.
Yeah,
It's actually run by the other groups, and it's just made to appeal to those that are trying to be like what you're talking about. They're wanting to get away. They're wanting that other option, and this is their pseudo option.
be careful now, Seth. We're going to get into conspiracy theory territory.
That's not even conspiracy theory territory. What was that cell company not too long ago that came out? And if you actually read their fine print and did any kind of research, they're actually owned by Verizon, but they market themselves as Verizon's competition.
T-Mobile.
No, it wasn't T-Mobile. It was a new group that sprung up,
Boost?
had apparently network all across America and everything.
Was it Boost?
And I don't think it
I don't know,
was like
but
I can't remember.
yeah, I don't know.
It's
You
like-
can look it up real quick, and we can come back to that. But I don't want to dwell on the problems with capitalism for too long.
We live that.
Well, there's many, and there's no real good solution at this point. That's not like burn everything down, and that's not a good solution either. So, yeah, Blaze, I know you have a thought on this, at least one.
Not social.
Okay, well, that's also a thought. But yeah, okay. Well, we can move on to something else. I'm not entirely sure how we got onto capitalism versus socialism.
Good question.
It's probably my fault. We can go over it. Was it me? I don't know. It's just us.
Said I don't think it was you.
Oh, well. I'll take responsibility regardless, because why not? Is there a lot in gaming this week, Zach? It feels like there was, but there also kind of wasn't. Yeah, it's like just
Not
a lot of...
comparative to like the last couple weeks.
Yeah. I mean, the Elden Ring trailer leak, which we hope is real.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it looks
like all the other games.
Yeah, it looks like a
from
Soulsborne
them,
game.
So.
We'll see. And it's confirmed to have PvP and at least a class system in the leak that happened earlier this week.
Seth, your thoughts? You're our biggest Soulsy.
On which I'm sorry, I was looking up to see the name of the place. On what was the name of the game?
Elden Ring.
Oh, Elden Ring.
The Elden Ring
Oh,
leak.
based on that video we saw?
Yeah. Looks good.
Obviously, very much low rendered.
Well, this was a leaked video from a cell phone.
That wasn't a negative thing. That was just a comment. I understand that it's a leak, wasn't ready, not ready for produce. I'm not criticizing it. It's just a
Seth,
statement.
don't you dare talk bad about Elden Ring.
Can't say
dare you.
anything these days. No.
You are canceled now, Seth. Off the show.
Kick him out of here.
But no, what?
Ryan was
I mean,
mentioning
I'm
that there's a class system. It mentions a class system and some other things.
Yeah, just PvP.
It looks cool. I don't have like anything negative, but I also don't have like a ton overwhelmingly positive. Mostly because one, it's not the ready trailer. It's just them basically outlining.
Yeah.
And
It
so
would not
visually, of
shock me.
course.
If they did this on purpose, if they themselves leaked it.
Yeah,
They're usually really good about not doing that kind of thing, though. So it would be kind of surprising to me if they had a leak, because From Software is known for being like tight-lipped about stuff, about not letting leaks happen. So I would be surprised if it happened, but I also kind of wouldn't be surprised because they haven't really hyped up Elden Ring at all.
At all. Like,
So I know that's not their
the
thing.
reveal trailer for the game however many years ago. What was it, in 2018 or something like that?
Yeah.
And we haven't heard from it since.
Well, they
even
can
after they said they were going to give us news.
they can take their time and do it right. I'm okay with this.
I am also okay with that. I'm ready to hear something about it, I guess.
The takeaway I got from it is that it is still, and this is both good and bad. It was not as much of a departure from what the trailer was showing as I
Yeah,
was expecting from.
There's a jump button. This is as much a departure as you're going to get.
I don't think that was a jump button. It looked like the typical run and jump.
It's poo-poo. No jump button.
And so, like,
I don't
the
know,
platforming
it's a
section kind of looked very Souls-esque. Like, a lot of the stuff still screamed from Soft, the door opening, I got a chuckle from this, the super big doors, the slow dramatic opening so they can do the load screen.
Hmm.
So,
The transition.
Won't be
Is
on
it-
PS5.
which-
Doors will open fast.
No, they
Oh,
won't. It doesn't matter how good the,
No,
the
it doesn't.
PS5 is. The doors are still open slow.
and that was kind of I got a chuckle because they're not bad. Like it doesn't bug me like that door's gonna take 5 seconds. But it was one of those things kind of like kind of thought by this point we wouldn't have to, but it's no big deal.
The
It's not
speedrunner in
gonna
me
ruin.
hates it.
Yeah,
The
speedrunner
the
Ryan hates it.
casual player is like, I don't really care, but the speedrunner is like, come on, door, come on.
Zach, maybe you can tell me, did they have those still in Sekiro? Because I can't remember if they did.
There were no doors in Sekiro.
I was gonna say I don't remember
think
them.
there were doors. I think you just. I'm
Broke
pretty sure you
stuff.
could just skip the whole thing. Like you could. Like I watched some speedrunners play it.
Yeah, you can just like jump over
and
everything.
You can just jump off them into like a corner of the map and skip through the whole map.
Yeah,
Right.
Like.
yeah. It's that's the
So,
thing.
I really enjoyed Sekiro. I thought it held a lot of the Dark Souls formula while also bringing a lot of its own and proving that you could still keep the same level while adding more quality of the life things. So I guess I was kind of hoping that it would be the blood like what Bloodborne was for Dark Souls 3. If you played Dark Souls 3 after Bloodborne, you understand they took a lot of different things from Bloodborne into this game. And some people liked it, some people hated it.
But not
for it, because
transformation
it's too much
weapons.
of a not unfortunately that thing. So I was kind of thinking Sekiro was almost like an experimental thing as well, if maybe they transfer some of the stuff over there to Elden Ring.
Right. But you see,
Which they still
that's for
could.
Dark Souls 4.
That's for Dark Souls.
It's for
We'll-
Bloodborne 2. It's
We'll
never
see.
going.
I was kinda
Bring me
hoping that-
Bloodborne 2.
It's never
I don't
gonna
know
still
happen.
why
happen.
they haven't done it yet.
If they can
They
get rid of my stamina meter, I'll be okay.
I think they hate money. That's my only thought to why they haven't done Bloodborne 2 yet.
I think, I'm pretty sure Miyazaki said that he's fine with Bloodborne 2. He just doesn't want to be part of it.
Well, if Miyazaki's not a part of it, I don't want to be
I
a
don't
part of
want
it.
Bloodborne 2 without him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
If he's not a part of it, I don't want to be a part of it either. Like,
I'm willing to see what B Team can produce because B Team made Dark Souls 2, and love it or hate it, Dark Souls 2, while it had a lot of negatives, it also had a lot of positives that the other games in the series have not touched.
I think that was my least favorite one, like out of all of them. That makes more sense. I didn't know a different team did it.
Yeah, that's why it was so different than the others. Is we call it B Team. It wasn't the main one.
The beta
Ma-
males heard.
Yeah, so after Dark Souls, the betas were working on Dark Souls 2 while the others were working on Bloodborne. And then Miyazaki came back after Dark Souls 2, like, give me that for 3.
He was like, no, beta males. You are not good enough for this, I have decided.
So, the positives I'd give to Dark Souls 2 is that, unlike the other ones, it was the most game-like, if that makes sense. Like, it was the one that it felt like it wasn't afraid to just kind of be silly at times and kind of give you what you wanted with things. Like, hey, you want that ridiculous looking boss armor? Well, here you go. You want to look like have like these giant ridiculous weapons? Go for it. You want to have rings that kind of do random stuff of all sorts of variety, some that even kind of break the game? Here it is, but you got to earn them. If you guys didn't know, they actually implemented 2 rings that you could get by doing, some of the 2 hardest things in the game, which is 1, beat it without dying, and then there's another one of beating it without dying and taking a hit.
Nope.
So
I'm
it
not
actually
good enough at those
encouraged-
games to do that.
They had to earn those rings.
Yes, they did. I've watched some people go through it. I refuse to ever attempt something like that.
What do those rings do?
That's-
So one of them, I believe, actually makes your weapons invisible. So if you're doing PvP, no one can know what you're using, which gives you a lot of advantage on that one.
Heard. So, grief weapons. Thank you,
Basically.
18.
Which is my love-hate relationship with the game because from a PvE game, it's great, but I understand why they have the PvP the way it is. I also hate it. I don't want to play PvP. I want to play PvE with friends.
That's always been my biggest problem with Dark Souls and those type. Like, it's so hard to play with your friends.
Yeah, I
It
really
got
hope
better in
they.
like Bloodborne. Bloodborne made it a lot easier.
Dark Souls 3 made it easier than Bloodborne, but my biggest complaint about that, though, Zach, is the fact that every Souls-like game I've come across has done way, way better than FromSoft ever has. Like Code Vein, as much as I have issues with that game, that is some of the best co-op I've come across from it.
Hmm.
Like you could drop in, drop out. You died, you could just immediately jump back into your friend's game, no problem. They didn't have to summon you or anything. They could just be going around their mission, and you just drop in.
That sounds nice.
It was nice. And they still made it fair as far as like the bosses go. If you die during the boss fight, you're out. You gotta wait till they finish and come back. So you can't just like cheese the boss that way.
Interesting. I haven't played Code Vein. I heard very, very mixed things about it.
It was okay until it got to, I'm guessing, the middle section, which was just killed it. Basically, there's a castle, and which on paper isn't bad. It's kind of a maze. Again, not too bad, except it's incredibly dull because everything looks the same, but not in a good way. Like it adds to the confusion of where the heck am I way, and then it also makes it like the biggest map that you've come to so far. And so it's just this sprawling, needless, trying to find these little levers to move, while also trying to dodge tough enemies and dodging narrow passageways. And it's not fun. It's just slog.
Dude, you gotta watch out for those narrow passageways.
Oh.
Better be sure to dodge them.
And so that me and Drew played through it. We actually got through the area, but it just killed our drive for the game. Like after that, we didn't want to play anymore because it wasn't a fun spot.
So
was
it was like the
dull.
poison dungeon for me in was that Dark Souls 1 maybe? Where you drop down and it's just like everything's poisonous. You're just like, well, this
Yeah, I've done that way worse. Because
Yeah.
at least that you understand why this is happening. Like it's still a pain. Like I don't know why you thought this was a good idea. This gets boring. Like I guess that's the best way to put it is it's boring by that point.
Your mom's boring.
That's
Thank
also your mom.
I don't know what you're talking about. That can't possibly be true. All right, well, Blaze, do you have anything to add? Anything you want to talk about real quick?
No, not really.
Well said. Well, you've been going for about an hour. You guys want to call it?
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Okay. We'll let Blaze go get something to eat, and then we can return to our talk about capitalism and how Amazon is screwing us. I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna get drunk.
I
So
like Amazon. So like it just kind of sucks that they're shutting down like the convenience of Amazon is convenient. Like I mean even in Hawaii I get like 2-day shipping. Free 2-day shipping. Like for my parents to ship me stuff, they just buy me if like for at Christmas time they just bought me stuff off of Amazon and sent it to me because it would have cost them more to ship Christmas presents to me than
I'm the worst person, and I'll explain it later. But was that it, Zach? I didn't want to step on your toes there.
no, you're good.
All right, well, thanks for listening, guys. I don't think we have anything. There's no events or anything next week. St. Patty's Day is the week after that. Not that that matters.
Wait. You've got the blood of the Irish in me.
I mean, same. So, I mean, I'll probably drink, but it's not on Friday anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to give us a like or a subscribe, or both if you're feeling super generous, because it helps us like be in the algorithm and stuff. Or leave a comment on what you like.
Algorithms.
I said algorithm, right? Right.
Algorithm.
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 The algorithms. That's the worst. I'll see you guys next week.